Hey, Nicole.
Hi,
So great to see you.
good to see you too.
Oh, this is awesome. I'm glad we have a little bit of time to get together.
Yeah, definitely.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where do you live? All the good jazz.
I live in LA, and my biggest hobby is dancing salsa. And
Fun.
I travel. I recently traveled the world to go do that. I'm really excited about doing that more. I just really love to hang out with people. LA is a great salsa scene, hang out with friends, play with my dogs.
How many dogs do you have?
Two dogs.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, how did you get into the egg freezing idea? Who told you about it? How'd you learn about it?
I um, had been just really contemplating my fertility and wanting to have children, but feeling a lot younger than I am, and knowing that my biological clock was ticking and that I was coming up to this invisible cliff where maybe suddenly my eggs would not be as viable to have children. And I just wasn't ready yet to take that step. And I didn't want the pressure of having to make a decision in haste to be able to have children. So I started thinking about different things I could possibly do, and okay, like thinking about the possibility of IVF in the future to be able to have kids. But then I realized, wait, I don't know if my eggs will be like healthy by then. By the time I'm ready, so I just decided that to explore different options. And I just thought, wait a minute, egg freezing, what is this? And I just kind of thought about it one night and looked it up online the next day and found a fertility clinic near me that specializes in egg freezing versus IVF or other fertility options. And I just went for a visit one day. I kept thinking about it over and over again, like, should I do it? Should I not? And then I thought, just schedule the appointment, go check it out, see what the doctor says. And I did. And here I am now with 29 frozen eggs.
Yay! Do you mind if I ask how old you are? Or when
36.
you were 36 when you did the egg freezing?
Now I am, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
I
you were
did it.
35?
I went in for my initial evaluation when I was 35, right before I turned 36, and then we've already, like, it happened within a few months. Freezing my eggs happened within a few months because I was traveling to Cuba, and the doctor was concerned about Zika, so she wanted me to do it
Oh,
before I left.
smart.
Yeah,
Smart.
yeah.
So, when you were searching online, what did you find? What did you see?
Not much. I felt like there was a lot of stuff about IVF and the fertility options with that, but I didn't really find a lot about egg freezing. So I just kind of went straight to the websites that the doctors had. And then right before I started my egg freezing treatment is when I found you guys, and was so grateful to find like a website that actually addressed my issues and concerns versus like somebody who was going through IVF, because I knew I wasn't going through the entire process, but I wanted to find a community of people who had similar objectives as I had, like who were people who didn't want to have the issues of
Babies right
you wanted to
now.
delay for
Yeah,
yeah,
you want to be a
yeah,
mom, just not right now.
exactly.
Yeah. So, are you dating? Are you in a relationship? What's that piece of your puzzle look like?
So, I've been in a relationship for a really long time, and we're kind of just deciding what the next steps are, and we're in the middle of that right now.
And did you ever consider making embryos, or you're just freezing eggs?
Yeah, we considered, or the embryo consideration was there. Just it felt right to freeze the eggs. The doctor that I went with had the exact rate of success with embryos or eggs, so I decided to go with eggs. But I had all options open.
Right, exactly. And then what about while you were on the hormones and being stimulated? Can you talk a little bit about your experience there and
Yeah.
how that felt going through the first time?
Mhm. my body apparently really responded well to the hormones, so I felt euphoric the entire time. I loved the feeling and wish I can have more estrogen in my body because apparently my body really likes it. It felt good. I loved it. I had no problems. My biggest issue was the injections. I felt a lot of anxiety right before I had to do it, especially the first time. Like the idea of having to like poke yourself and actually stick the needle in. That was really hard, and the longer I thought about it, the harder it became. So finally, just got to the point where I didn't even think about it. It just injected, and it was done.
Bam.
That was the hardest part.
And did you have anybody there with you, like an emotional support, or did you do it all by yourself?
So the people who were there were a lot of people who were very supportive of me, but living in LA, everybody's super far away and in traffic and time, just the time of day of having to give myself the injections. I, had some people that were close by at the time and like maybe in the same vicinity, like maybe in the house with me while I was in the bathroom, but not injecting me or anything like that. I had to do it myself.
Did you have
But
anybody in your life that had gone through the process before that you could lean on, or you were totally doing this blind and through the clinic's suggestions? And
yeah, totally blind. I found a blog just where the person talked about what her experience was, but then I realized that I didn't want to anticipate any negative things that could possibly come up because I started reading about the pain and of certain injections, and I was like, okay, I just would rather take it day at a time and figure out with my doctor if there was any complications. So I kind of backed off on any kind of research just because I didn't want to get too far in my head with what the possibilities were.
or what's happened to someone else that may not even happen to you.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
So I just kind of went with it, and I had a beautiful experience. It was lovely. I mean, there was nothing to complain about. Like the injections were the hardest part, but I would do it over again.
Mm-hmm. And you feel happy about the results? Do you think this one time is enough for you, or do you want to do it again?
Yeah, well, I want the hormones again.
Give me those drugs, right?
You feel good. They're kind of expensive just to have those hormones in my body again. But no, I had a really great retrieval. I had 29 eggs retrieved and one in my during the procedure, and well, actually, I had 36 retrieved and then
Wow.
29 mature. So.
And how were the costs perspective? How did that fit in your equation? Did you save up for this? Was there people that helped you, or did you take out a loan?
I saved up for it. It was something that I felt really strongly about the possibility of having kids in the future, and wanting to make sure that I had kids with healthy eggs. I have PCOS, so I think that for me, I'd already considered the possibility of having to go through some fertility treatments to have children anyway, and so part of it was like, well, if I'm going to have fertility treatments, this is part of the process, and I can't predict the future, so I know it's possible I could have just gotten pregnant on my own and been fine with just some meds, but the reality for me was that I just wasn't ready now, and I wanted to have healthy eggs. So for me, it was worth the investment. And I kind of see it like as an insurance policy. So
Yeah. And what does that picture of the future really look for you?
yeah, that was why I wanted to do this, was to take the pressure off. Like, I don't want to be freaking out in the middle of the night because I'm 36 and my eggs are gonna like go bad and not be able to have kids and all of those things. Like, I still know that the possibility exists with just having eggs that they still won't produce children, but I think that I have a pretty good chance of at least trying on my own. But I feel like the anxiety is really lifted off of having to make plans for the future. I want to be able to live in the moment and not be worried.
So you're on the other side and you finished egg freezing. Do you feel like the pressure's come off? Do you feel like the weight has been lifted? Tell us how you feel now.
I do. I feel a lot more confident, just in being able to enjoy life in the moment and not have to worry about the next few years, and just knowing that I have the possibility of having what I want with more security. I feel more secure in being able to take those steps later in life. And whereas before, I know that it's a dice, it's like it's rolling the dice on the health of the baby with the eggs at the age that maybe when I'd be ready at 39 or something to have a child. And I know that a lot of people have babies at 39 and they're perfectly fine. But that was just not something I wanted to roll the dice on myself.
Yeah. And, there's a key aspect that, whatever amount that you invested in freezing your eggs now, you could argue that you would spend twice the amount in your 39, 40, 41 years to have the same results. So, you pay for it up front or you pay it on the back end, but, healthy child is the end goal, right? So, we know that egg health and quality of eggs are equally as important. And it sounds like you were well educated and you had a great experience and you had doctors holding your hand and you found great resources like us to validate what you were doing. So that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I loved the team at USC. That they were so amazing and very supportive. I'd email them questions, and within 5 or 10 minutes, they responded and taken care of the situation. I just felt very supported, and also within my friends and my community and my family. Even though my family had a harder time understanding.
Did you tell your parents? Is that something you said up front, or did you tell them after it was over?
No, I told my mom while I was going, like right before I started it, and she freaked out and doesn't understand. She didn't understand why I couldn't have a natural baby, and I was like, "It is going to be a natural baby. It's going to be."
You're making sure it's yours, DNA wise, that there's future grandchildren on ice babies.
So once I told her, once she kind of like understood, I had to tell her 3 or 4 times because it was so not part of her mindset of what people
do. Possible. Yeah.
So once I explained it to her like 3 or 4 times, like, no, it's still my child. It's all 100% my child. Like whoever like gets to fertilize the egg, it'll be still our child. It's completely our DNA. And I kind of went over that over and over with her. She finally got it, and now she's really excited. I sent her a picture, took a picture of the eggs after they were frozen, and they gave me a picture, and I sent her a picture of it, and
the microscope photos.
Yeah, and I was like, here's your future baby or grandbaby, and she was excited about that. Do you want to see my babies?
Yeah, let's see your ice babies. Oh, look at them all. That's awesome. Great job.
Oh, they're so pretty.
Oh, which one will you pick first?
Whichever comes out first. The batch that comes out.
Fantastic. Like you seemed like you came to a resolution pretty quickly. Like how long from the time that you learned about egg freezing to the time that you actually took action and started the meds? How long was that window?
So, I'd been worried about having children, worried about that window closing since I was like 34, because I knew I still wasn't ready then, and I didn't anticipate being ready in the next 2 or 3 years. And so like from the time I was like 34, 35, there was a lot of anxiety about wanting to have kids and not sure what the future held. And then when I got to, it was probably like around May when I really started thinking about, hey, there's egg freezing. That's an option. I didn't even think about that before. And then, because at first I thought about just embryo only, and then I thought, well, maybe eggs would be a good option for me. And then, so May is when I started really thinking about it and decided like this might be a good option for me. And then in August, I had my first initial consultation appointment. And then they started me with going off the pill so that they can check my hormone levels and the viability of the procedure. And then with going to Cuba in November, I kind of had a very short window of opportunity to get it done. And so that kind of really sped up the process for me, because I knew that the Zika virus had the potential of creating some more problems for me. So I wanted, if I was going to do it anyway, might as well get it done before I go to Cuba without any problems for my potential children.
Yep, it definitely put the wheels in motion, I see.
Yeah.
Any nuggets of wisdom you want to tell the future egg freezers out there from your experience?
Like for me, it was just a great opportunity to pull the pressure off and to really live in the moment and not worry. I was my career, I have a doctorate degree, and my career was just getting started when I started getting into the end stages of my fertility windows, I guess. That as far as I could see, the as far as having the healthy, this quote unquote healthy eggs. So for me, having my career is really important in benefiting um, from having my career growing and having that part of my life really expanding and feeling really full. Like, being in graduate school and broke and poor for so many years, and not having any extra income, and now finally having it. The last thing I wanted to do was just really like make a decision out of pressure because of my age. So for me, that was a huge thing. So if anyone's really looking into doing that, I really would support. If that's if there's some pressure there, it really does relieve the pressure in a really great way to be able to give yourself some time to be able to make a decision that comes with peace and calm, and when you really feel ready. And I know that like a lot of people never feel ready, but that's not it for me. Like, I really want to enjoy my career and this part of my life before I have
Establish yourself. I get the sense that you're really responsible. You wanted to establish yourself, but you didn't want to forget about the piece of your family planning and that home life. And so you've taken care of business with school, you've gotten your career on track, and you just
Yep.
need more time.
Yeah, and being a mom is something I've always wanted. Like, I can remember being 5, 6 years old, playing with my Cabbage Patch Kids, playing like I was pregnant, putting the doll in my
Oh,
belly, and like, and caring for it, and having a child, like, and going through till the kid was like in preschool or something. I'm like, I played the entire thing out,
I
and I
think
just,
we've all done that as kids. I just think it was our generation.
yeah,
That's what we spent time doing. We didn't play on the iPads like kids these days or watch TV for hours on end.
yeah,
We were
no,
outside and dreaming.
dreaming of, yeah, and I know for me, like, a lot of dreaming about my kids, and I absolutely want children. I want to be a mom more than anything, and
Yeah.
I don't want that opportunity taken from me because of
Hmm.
my age. And so that was the biggest thing that I felt like I could empower myself to be able to still have the opportunity to
Hmm.
have children and not have my age limit me the way that I felt that it was.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're such a great inspirational resource for other women out there. And so thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah, of course. I'm totally excited to help other people if that could be helpful for them, or just
Hmm.
to help give somebody some insight as to what the experience could be like.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks, Nicole. Have
Yeah,
a
thank
great
you.
day.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.